Hey there, Chem 1030 students. Welcome to week 7. That is essentially the halfway point, so you're almost there. Hang in there. Let's go ahead and look at what we've got going on this week. If we go to our, first of all, look for new announcements here. You'll also see some orange dots up here if you have new mail or discussion group posts or alerts. So let me go to the course schedule. So I'm going to content, course schedule, and I'm scrolling down to week 7. You're wrapping up week 6 depending on when you're watching this. Week 7 is back to sort of our typical week. There is no pre-lab. Professor Molish will talk more about your lab. There is no pre-lab for the end of this week because next week is your midterm. So you've got that coming. Well, next week is fall break, and then you have your midterm. I don't mean to scare you. So we're in week 7, which begins October 2nd. Again, depending on when you're looking at this, you have wrapped up the previous week. You do have experiment 6 this week. There will be an experiment and a quiz following it. We are going back to a chapter in our Pearson textbook. We're doing chapter 6 this week. So there's a pre-lecture assignment, a post-lecture assignment, and an adaptive follow-up, depending on how you do on those first 2 assignments. There are lecture notes and lecture video. We'll go look at that in just a minute. But something to start thinking about. Next week, you do have a couple days off for fall break, but we're starting to prep for the midterm. So there are some review sessions coming up for your midterm. Be watching for announcements on those. We have a fun blow off some steam chemistry meme discussion board coming up next week, the week of fall break. And we have a midterm review and a notes page. So you can get started on these now and enjoy more of your fall break next week. So be thinking about next week's material. You will see another video at the beginning of next week, but be thinking about next week's material as well. Even though you've got a couple days off because of midterm, you still have class more than half the week, so be thinking about that. All right, so back to chapter 6, week 7. Again, just be looking ahead, but let's go to our course content for week 7 and see what that looks like. Again, we're back to sort of a typical schedule. As I scroll down here, we're still in module 2, weeks 4 through 8. We're in week 7. Here is the overview, and here is where you're watching the video. We don't see the link right here, but it'll be live by the time you're watching this. And so we see that we're working on chapter 6 in lecture, and we do have experiment 6 in lab, which is on stoichiometry. We're really hitting that hard because we really want you to be prepared for that. Again, there's a lecture and a lab section. Professor Molish will talk more about the lab as you see her. But here we have a corrections video for the stoichiometry homework that you turned in this past weekend. You will only see the video link right here below this if you turn something in. So if you miss the deadline, you still should turn something in because that allows you to see the corrections. Even if you don't get a grade for it, that allows you to see the corrections video, which means you've got that to practice with. There have been a couple of comments on the discussion board and a couple of emails with questions about the stoichiometry homework that you guys wrapped up. Please use your discussion board and email me if you have questions. All right, again, pre-lecture, guided lecture notes, post-lecture adaptive follow-up. Pretty typical here. I'm going to drill down into chapter 6 material. Again, I'm going to drill down into our chapter 6 guided lecture notes. We're here, pre-lecture. There's your guided lecture notes, your post-lecture assignment. I'm going to drill down one more time into the lecture videos. We do see the lecture videos here, but I'm going to open it up even one further, and then you can see a description because I want to point out something to make sure that you catch it. In this third video, there is a mistake at 5:12, And so you want to make sure as you're watching it, you take note that what's on the screen is not correct. It does get corrected here. And so you want to make sure that you take a look at that. It's just a mislabeling of an alpha and a beta. And so it's kind of important. And so you'll all probably catch it while you're watching it the first time. But do please note that it is corrected here. Again, let me stress, it's a pretty typical week, but you want to start looking ahead to next week and the week after. Your midterm is coming up. Start looking at what's happening there on your course schedule. When you come back to the course schedule, you can see what's going to be happening and start preparing for that. And so start preparing for that. Again, we're in week 7. We do have some midterm stuff coming up. Please pay special attention to the fact that you do get 1 page of handwritten notes on a normal size piece of paper or smaller on the front or the back. For your midterm, you want to start thinking about what you want to put on that based on the previous material, and you will have to submit that to be able to use it next week. So be watching for that. I hope that helps.